posted it on Facebook.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And love to have any of your friends on, especially your cute friends in bikinis. They come on.
Oh, police.
Let's broadcast this poolside. That'd be fun.
Not going to work.
Hey, we make it serious. For Bill Gross here. This is, I am a real estate broker in Los Angeles, California, the LAProbate expert.com. And I host every Tuesday at 3 o'clock Pacific time, real estate investing, zoom.com, where we talk about topics related to real estate investing, whether you're a new investor, experienced. I work at Probate. I'm a real estate broker, or you're a developer, or you're a contractor. We'd love to talk about finding deals, working together to make some money. Or we talk about those things, or Nicole and her friends in the bikinis. Either one of those topics are good subjects for this call. So I'm just kidding. Nicole's a good friend who helped me launch this meeting really about a year ago, and then has been on hiatus and is back. So welcome back, Nicole. Hey, what are you doing these days, Nicole? Are we ready to lunch and talk about where you're at? We're still kind of on the down low. You're muted. Oh, she left us.
I am. I'm studying for my real estate license at a digestible pace, and also still qualifying other positions because I keep getting approached. So I'm not gonna, I'm definitely listening to everyone who brings something to my plate, but I'll probably take another position while I study for real estate in the support aspect. And I'm actually thinking about doing solar.
How about that?
Yeah, so just to learn about it before selling real estate. I think it would be a good resource to know more about, since we're all going to have to be solar coming up here soon. But I still have title opportunities presenting themselves just as soon as this week. So I'm still 1 foot in, 1 foot out.
Nice. Okay. Well, number one, anybody who's looking for somebody with a lot of knowledge in real estate, some sort of a position, support staff, operational position, talk to Nicole or text me. I'll forward her information. Great asset to any organization. Helped us get this group launched. I met her organizing a organizational event amongst realtors in the west side of LA. And then, solar. I'm really interested in solar. I think having watched, I just see the business opportunity there. Having watched a transaction recently from the front to the back for the first time, really paying attention to it, I see that makes more sense than it had in the past. So definitely an area worth looking into. Well, good. Well, thanks so much.
Thank you.
So, I'd like to just start off with kind of a thought today, and we're talking a little bit. I think Sean caught me when we warm up. I listen to music, and I listen to music all day long. Actually, in my office, I was sharing that I think I have the musical taste of a 13-year-old girl, and that's just because I hear a song and it kind of gets stuck in my head. But I'll play it over and over again because I'm not really listening. I'm working, but I want the energy in the background. I want the movement. I want the music. And I think it's really important to have a positive mindset in real estate, no matter what you do, whether you are an investor or a wholesaler. I think it's really important. If you want to be successful in the long run in any of those, it's going to be consistent, hard work over time, and you need to make sure you keep your head in the game. There's going to be disappointments. You're going to go from disappointment to disappointment, and then victory, and then another disappointment, and then victory. That's the pattern, it seems like, and the people do well just deal with it. And so think about what you do, what you watch, what you listen to, and what you read. One of my first coaches was Zig Ziglar, and he said, you can change who you are and you can change what you are by changing what goes into your mind. You can change who you are, you can change what you are by changing what goes into your mind. And so when I coach salespeople on my team or outside, I often ask them, what do you watch? And they'll say, well, I always get this answer. I don't watch that much TV. That's like saying I don't drink that much poison. And so when I do an inventory with people, how much is positive and how much is negative? Most of society, well, let me ask you guys on the phone, either put a chat box or raise your hand. Is most of society's input positive or negative? The vast majority. Positive or negative? The vast majority.
Can you say that again? I had a little bit of a...
The vast majority of input If you were just to flip on a television, I can't believe I go to dry cleaners and they have the news on a TV screen while you're waiting to drop off your dry cleaning. Why would you pollute the minds of your clients with the news, right? They used to do that at Ralph's where we used to shop. So either thumbs up or thumbs down. Is most of life's input positive or negative? Negative, negative, negative. I don't see any positives. I got a negative in the chat box. Yeah, and so I think you need to think about going through, and particularly if you're trying to go somewhere. Now, the famous line from Alice in Wonderland, when Alice popped up and asked Cheshire Cat, which way should I go? And the cat said, well, where do you want to go? And Alice said, well, I don't really care either way. Then he said, well, it doesn't matter which way you go. So I would say that if you don't have any clear direction in your life, if you don't have any clear goals, put on the TV and watch it all day. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it doesn't matter. If you're not going anywhere, so it's negative. And I think that's the state most corporate entities, most business entities want us to be, almost like we're animals being fed by a tube. But if you want to go somewhere, you want to line things up. And one thing for sure, you got to start with yourself. You want to change your business, you have to start with changing you. You want to change your life, start with changing you. Start cleaning up your side of the street. I have a great coach, Don Hobbs. We have a program within our EXP program. This is for our tribe. And he always says that if you want to change the world, you've got to start with you. So I'll share with you a couple of things that I do, and then we'll get to some real estate issues. But a couple of things I do. One is I listen to music all the time. Positive, upbeat music. These days, country western old school used to be more negative lyrics. These days, it's much more upbeat. It's almost like rock or pop music. Latin music, I like. Enrique Iglesias, and there's just a lot. And so much of it's free on YouTube or Spotify that I can listen to, create playlists. So I'm listening to things all the time. I only read the news one day a week, and I allow myself to go online to read the news 1 hour a week. So I know what's going on in the world, but I don't want to know too much because there's just really nothing that good. And I tell my wife all the time, if there's something the FBI or the national military needs us to know, they'll tell us. Otherwise, we're good. There's nothing no matter what happens, I got to sell a house today. It doesn't really matter. Whatever happens in whatever political issues we're on. Second, when you read, and I think it's important, reading is a very intense way to input, and I'm always reading good books. I read spiritual books. I also read history. I love to see people struggle over and overcome a challenge. And then when you watch, and I watch a lot of positive video. I watch a lot of informative educational video. Of late, I think I've shared with you guys, I'm really into Grant Cardone. I bought his 2021 10X Con video. It's about 3 days of video for about $100. And they did the 2020, same thing for about $100. It was amazing me how people who I've known, pop stars, music stars, athletes, their mindset's so strong. I watched an interview with A-Rod. I never cared for him as a baseball player. But his mindset in business is so focused. Definitely worth putting your brain. And so upcoming, I want to share with you guys, I think a great opportunity that's free. If you know me, if you know anything about me in business, I love free stuff. So upcoming is Grant Cardone's 10X Real Estate Agent Challenge for agents. If you're an investor and you're not an agent, and you know an agent, recommend them to go. It's May 10th through 14th. It's 1 hour a day. It's 2 p.m. Eastern. It's 11 a.m. our time. 1 hour a day, you check in, and then you're going to get an assignment for the week. For the day. And then you come back the next day, held accountable. Did you achieve your goal or not? And then another assignment. Some great speakers, Grant Cardone himself. Kerko Musa, not only was he on HGTV's Flip or Flop, I actually used to coach him and do marketing for him when he joined my company. And I was a manager at Century 21 Masters a few years ago. Great guy, amazing guy. Glenn Sanford, the founder of eXp Realty, real estate's latest billionaire. He's created more millionaires than anybody in real estate. And then one of my other favorite real estate people is Ryan Serhant from New York City. amazing attitude, amazing energy. And so I'd say if you're struggling to get that positive energy, whether you're in real estate or not, it'd be an amazing opportunity. And one part the most it's amazing about is it is, come on, somebody tell me, it is free, right? So join the challenge. I'll put it in the chat box. If you want to join and you're not in the on the call here live, text, email me or whatever, get to me and I'll get you there. But it's free and it's next week, May 10th through 14th, 1 hour a day. And then you have like a homework assignment to bring back. And the idea for many of us, most of us are entrepreneurs on our own, who holds accountable to get done the things we have to get done. And this is the idea to create some accountability. And I would just say, if you can trick yourself into acting like an employee in your business and work that hard, then you put a good effort in every single day. Questions about the Grant Cardone Real Estate Challenge? The free, they mentioned it's free. Yeah, the free 10X Real Estate Challenge. Anybody have any questions about that or in general about attitude or mindset? No?
Hey, Bill, can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
Listen, it's been a little while. Hello to you, to the group. I don't know how regularly you guys have all been on. Bill and I met prior to the pandemic. I attended a few of your in-person events there at your office. It's nice to see that you have a group that follows you regularly. I wanted to tune in today, just to touch bases with you, Bill. You know, a lot has happened. A lot of us have had to change course, let's say. So if I could just briefly, if you'll give me 2 minutes, just to share a little bit about what I've done, how we know each other, and maybe I could be some help to some of those that are on the call, like Nicole, some of you that are, you know, just let me just share really quick. Prior to COVID, I worked and I probably got the best education ever in finance. I've been in finance for 27 years of my life. I'm 54. And I worked with a small private equity group in Los Angeles that raised capital for developments in multifamily, seniors housing. I got to learn all the back end stuff that Grant Cardone teaches. I've been to his seminars. I've listened to a lot of his teachings. And a lot of it is really understanding how to grow a portfolio in the multifamily sector using what they call non-recourse debt. So I understand a lot of these concepts that I learned from this small equity group. They gave me that education that now I've opened my own consulting firm in Whittier. So me and my son have just launched 2 weeks ago, and I'm getting connected again to, you know, friends like Bill and others. If there's any chance that I can be of input to your group, maybe help in some way of giving information on the real estate, commercial real estate side. I do have an extensive knowledge in that, in all that area. As a consultant, I needed to know from a development project, what went into that project, from the budget, all the figures that came out to where you came out with your ROI at the end and you met with your investor. You needed to know that. So I was really schooled for 3 years and understood contracts and all these things that you need to know. So Grant Cardone will teach you in that first 100 or free seminar, will kind of give you an overview, but to really get into the depth of understanding what he knows at his level, you'll probably spend a few $1,000s in that education for sure, but well worth it. Just wanted to share that.
Well, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have some positives and negatives, and I think that the real estate investment, I can't really speak to the detail of his teaching in that area. What I admire about him is his mindset, his incredible passion to help other people, and just coming from a position of service, of focus, and of chasing after your dreams and possibilities. So I'm not going to encourage somebody to invest without nothing one way or the other, but I appreciate you giving that background. Hey, Arthur, where in Whittier is your office?
We just opened just a little east. It's in East Whittier, just off First Street and Whittier Boulevard.
I know exactly the area. My father was an attorney for years. He had an office in La Habra. He was on Whittier Boulevard, just west of First Street on the north side of the road. A little office building he owned. So wow, small world. Well, good. Well, welcome. Good luck with it. How exciting.
Yeah, thanks. Appreciate
good.
it. Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions or comments regarding Grant Cardone or just the subject of mindset in general? I think it's the most important thing. I think it's the most important block for most people. It's not the money. It's not even not knowing what to do. It's not having the mental commitment to doing what you have to do on a daily basis. If you get this right, you'll figure the rest out, is my experience. Any other questions or comments? Anybody else have anything they want to share as far as a trick or tool or hack as far as keeping your mindset in the game on a daily basis?
I have a question, Bill.
Sure.
Bill, I've been to many of these your Zooms, and you just seem to be very balanced in terms of the way you handle the meeting and your knowledge base and your ability to talk about inspiring people. And my question is, just for the benefit of all of us, can you tell us a little bit about your background? You seem to know how to do all the things.
Yeah. I'm always glad to talk about me, Dr. Ed, the real estate doctor. I think that one of my teachers, a rabbi, taught me that life is a battle for clarity. And I think once you have clarity, you see things clearly, then you can make the right decisions. And so I think what you see in me, I think I would just rephrase it. I don't think I'm the most dynamic speaker in the world. I'm certainly not the most accomplished. I've accomplished a lot, but I'm not the most accomplished. But I think what you see in me is I'm authentic to who I am. At least that's what I work towards, being real and being who I am. I have a lot of experience in real estate, but I also learn every day. I seek to learn more. I think it's really important to be a learner. And I really genuinely look to help people every day. It's just not a gimmick. It's not just a phrase. I talk a lot about my coach, Zig Ziglar. You can get anything you want in life if you help enough other people get what they want. That doesn't mean you can help them as a condition to get paid back. It means that in real estate, it's hard when we're faced with the opportunity to make a lot of money to do the right thing that might cost us that check or some of that check. And if you really focus on helping other people, it's easier. It makes a difficult situation a lot simpler. So I will say that I got really clear on that. And I also, Grant Cardone has really helped me. When COVID hit, I had to restructure my entire business. You may know, I'm sure you know, Ed, that I used to go to court every day for 3 hours. That's how I generated business. And when COVID hit, the court closed. I couldn't do it anymore. And I watched Grant give a talk on, he was the same boat we were all in. What the hell am I going to do with my life? I got to make money somehow. My entire business has come to a halt. In his case, he was doing live events with 10,000 people in an arena. Well, that stopped, right? And he had people pay him for his consulting. That stopped. And so he had an online seminar, like, what am I going to do? He goes, well, here's what my thoughts are. And he outlined a plan that I followed, which was one, and I would say this is true for anybody who wants to relaunch their business or relaunch their life professionally. One, stop spending anything. I literally just canceled every credit card. You called them up and said, my card's been stolen, I need a new card. So all the credit cards, all the monthly stuff that you get, don't think about stopped. And then number two, think about what are the ways I can generate revenue right now? What can I sell? What services can I offer? And I made a list of them. Now he recommended people sell the stuff you have that you don't need. Well, I don't have that much stuff that can make that kind of money on it. But I could sell, I do advances for people who need probate advances, and I can make good money at $10,000, $20,000 advances and doing loans and selling houses, listings, and building out my team. So I got really clear on where I make money. And then he said, make a plan to do those things. And I spent literally 5 days, my entire workday was no phone calls, no meetings. I have my other office, I have a butcher board with paper, and I just wrote notes and wrote ideas and put them on the wall and game planned it out and wrote a plan at the end of the day. At the end of the 5th day, I had a very detailed business plan of what I was going to do for the next 90 days. And frankly, I've just done that. And every 90 days, I reevaluate, add some things, take out some things, but I just execute that plan. But I started from absolute clarity on what I had to do to generate a lot of money. Because I want to have a big life. I have to make a lot of money. So I think what you see in me is clarity, and that's my goal. I'm clear that I'm not here charging any of you any of this. I don't want to be that kind of a coach. I want to be so good that people want to listen to me, want to be around me. And I don't want to have to cold call for 3 hours a day. I want to have so many people calling me for business that I can respond and make enough money handling those phone calls. And so I've really focused on being of service and building out my tribe as big as I can and trying to be of service to as many people as I possibly can. And it's worked. I'll give you an example. I have a business coach and my goal is to write a new listing every week, 2 contracts a week, one being a listing. Last week, I listed 4 properties. One went to escrow the day I took it, one went to escrow on Monday, and one's got a bunch of offers on it. We'll figure out tomorrow what we're doing. But I mean, I would have been happy with 1, I'm happy with 2. With 4, I'm just completely overjoyed. So I believe that's the power that's available to all of you today. I've been in this business since 1986. And I'll say this with clarity, and I'm not selling any of you on this. This is the truth from where I sit. There has never been a better time to make life-changing income and wealth than right now. Never. Don't sell yourself short. This is the opportunity of a lifetime. I'm 62 and a half. I started a 5-year plan 2.5 years ago, and I'm on that in the middle of that plan. I don't know what I'll do after 65. I haven't really thought that. But there has never been a better time than right now. There's more money available to put money down. There's more money to finance properties. There's more opportunity, more people scared, looking for somebody with conviction than ever before. So, okay, that was a long-winded answer to who am I, but does that answer your question, Ed, or is there something in particular you think I left out?
Yes, I've known you for 2.5 years, but what happens so many times is I see you 3 dozen times at Sizzler, and we never get to really talk about our backgrounds because that's not what we generally want to talk about. But
Right.
again, I was just curious, and I appreciate filling in on the gaps.
Yeah, I'll tell you one other thing is I've been married since 1986. I started real estate same year. I should have a ton of us sorted. We both started our careers and our marriages the same year for a long period of time. And we have 1 child, a girl who's married, and she's pregnant, and God willing, expecting in September. And so I always say to myself, doesn't matter what happens, at the end of the day, I'm gonna come home. My wife loves me, and my daughter loves me, and that's what's really important. And I believe God loves me. And I will say, I think I'm always hesitant talking a non-spiritual meeting, but I will share with you that the foundation of my faith is a belief in God. Very strong daily activities that I believe is the foundation of my faith. So, okay, good. Other questions on mindset? Anybody else here have any tools that you want to share? How do people keep themselves focused positively? If you're an investor, you're talking to potential sellers, and you'll probably get 90 no's to 10 yeses, and you'll investigate the 10 properties, only find 1 or 2 that you want, you end up buying 1. So there's a lot of rejection along the way. How do you keep yourself focused? Sean, do you have some input?
Don't believe your own BS, but 2, believe it enough to keep pushing forward. Yesterday I picked up, I'm down in Escondido, and I picked up 2 photo shoots in LA, and some of my peers are like, why'd you drive up there? I'm like, because 2 jobs that paid are better than 0 on the couch.
Wow.
Did I make as much as I would have had I shot in Escondido? No, but I still made a profit yesterday.
Sean, you mentioned this because one of my listens is in La Jolla. I think we're gonna need photos. I know you have my contact info. I'll forward it to I have an agent that's helping with the property. Forward me your info, and let's. Do you do like virtual and touch up on like the house we have is still a bit of a mess, and so I use a company where they do like virtual, where it's like staged, but it's not a staged property for real.
I am working on virtual. I didn't like the current products that were out, so I'm working a couple of different things. Theoretically, actually, FedEx should be delivering the last piece to me this afternoon. where I'll be able to do ultra high res pictures that are in
Nice.
about the 140 meg range as opposed to the current 18 meg. So if you zoomed in, you could see the walls. But do I, if you said, hey, I want it tomorrow, could I do it? No, because I'm still putting the electronic part of it together.
Okay.
But within a week, I should be able to.
So when you, with the new system, do a demo and come on next week, a week after, and kind of show us what it looks like.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and well, the great part is that as soon as it's all done and as soon as I get all the software, because my proof of concept works, but I got to actually do it. But I should be able to convert both drone images, 360 aerials, outdoor 360, and indoor 360
Nice.
with uber high stuff. But the main thing, back to your question, is like I said, just believe in yourself and keep going forward.
Yes. Yeah, I agree. Don't stop, can't stop.
Also, I've got something. Just continue to keep talking to as many people as you trust, as you know are active, not just in your area, but especially in other areas. Always answer your phone and just pay attention, stay present extra when it gets to be like that, because something that you pick up might be something that you're able to put down over here and put into business. And, just broaden your network during those times. Kick the tire with everybody, just don't sit there and lie stagnant and feel sorry for yourself, but take more action and really like 10X. I mean, I read 10X and I believe in it. I live that way. So I don't even know when I'm lead generating anymore. I'm not even working right now in that trajectory, but I'm still lead generating, so it's just constantly staying active, finding out what's going on out there, whether you're in the market at that time or not, because some information that you're able to pick up or somebody that you're able to come into contact with just, is going to put you into play.
The 10X thing is so real. I know when I read the book the first time, I was an agent. I thought I was working hard. I was by most standards. I was lead generating 3 to 4 hours a day, talking to 20, 25 people a day, consistently over time. And it wasn't generating enough business. And basically he said, well, whatever the problem is, if you just do 10 times as much, you'll figure it out. And I'd say that, one of the issues of COVID was I couldn't meet in person anymore with people. What could I do? But this is one of 2 calls I do. And I get about 25 on this one, about 30 or 35 on the other. About 60. I send out to YouTube and get another 100 views a week or more. I've had other people invite me to be guests on theirs as a result of all that. So I actually am talking to more people now than before. And as a result, I'm doing way more business. So I would challenge you, what can you do to talk to 10 times more people or reach 10 times more people with your message, whatever that is? And it starts with that. Once you figure that out, then the business, there'll be more flow. And I also will say that the more you do, the better you get at something. So, okay, any other questions on real estate investments? Who here has seen an increase in interest rates? Anybody? Anybody notice the interest rates have gone up? No? I had a client last week, this week quoted on a FHA 4-unit property, 3.375%. That was over it was 2.75 2 months ago. So 0.5% on $1 million, right, is $5,000 a year, about $400 a month. So qualifying was a little tight, and you make it $4 more a month. The expense makes it a little tighter. So I think that's going to take a little bit out of the umph of the rising market, but still the rising market's so crazy. The prices we're getting are so crazy, even still, despite that. And part of that is at the same time while rates are going up, the value of the houses is going up because there's no lumber to build new houses. They're not building new houses in LA. So anybody wants to live here, the value of the houses is going to go quickly. The investors I see that are buying property are very aggressive. And I'm not saying they're right and those are wrong. I would definitely want to have an exit strategy to keep myself covered. But the people buying property today are cutting those margins thinner, and they're working the margins down so they can keep their group going and keep their costs down. So, anybody else have any input? Man, I see you unmute yourself. Did you want to jump in? No? Maybe not. Okay. Any other input questions on investments? Do they have any particular properties they want to pitch for us today? I'm going to show you guys an amazing statistic I heard 2 weeks ago. I may have shared this here last week. I'm not sure if I did. Did I talk about the conversion rate for iBuyers? Did we talk about that previously? So I did a little research. You probably familiar with the concept of an iBuyer. They're an internet-based company that's buying property. And the idea is that rather than a local investor, like maybe you, buying a property, there's big platforms that buy property, whether it be Zillow or Open Door. I lost the listing to Open Door, though they haven't bought the property yet. That's another. They promised to close in 10 days, and here it is 45 days later, they haven't closed. But I didn't say anything about an Open Door. It sucked. Zillow, Keller Williams has one. With the XP, we have them called Express Offers. So it's a way to buy properties. But one of the things that's consistent, all these iBuyers, a lot of them copy each other and hire each other's employees. So they kind of get to be a little similar. But there's a number called the conversion ratio, how many properties get submitted to them for each one they buy. And it seems that on average, these programs will bid on about one of every two properties that come to them. And then the offer is accepted about 1 in 50 times. So they're buying about 1 in 100 properties being submitted to them. 1 in 100. So that means if you're an iBuyer company, you have to go out and submit 100 properties, and 99 of those sellers are going to say, no, we don't want your price, we want more. And so are you available? If you're an investor, are you giving up because somebody tells you, well, I'm not. I'll tell you this, I have a client who I met with, and then because he's young and techie, he thought he should go online and started with Open Door. But like I said, for 45 days, I can tell you it's 45 days because I follow up every week. Because one of two things are going to happen. Either they're going to sell his house and make him happy, or I will. But I'm not giving up until it's done. And that's the business, is you have to be willing to follow up. If you don't follow up, you're going to lose for sure. So when you have leads, I have leads. I put, I think, the most profitable deal of my career in escrow last week on Thursday and Friday. Schedule closed next week on Monday. I'll give you guys the numbers once it closes. This is an attorney I called 6 months ago. And I called him about every 30 days to stay on top of the deal. And he actually called me last week and said, okay, we're ready to go. Now, if you'd asked me, do I think he was ever going to call me or sell? No, I don't know. I've had hundreds of leads like that. But if you talk to enough people, some will call back and say, hey, I know you sound like you know what you're doing. We're ready to do something. Can you do A, B? We have a problem, A and B. I solved A and B, boom, we're in escrow. So it's a numbers game. It's also about following up over time. And I would say to you, the average lead from day one to getting paid is about 2 years. And if you have a system in place to stay on top of people for at least 6 months, you're leaving a lot of money on the table. Unless you afford to do that, I would say don't do that. Okay. Any other questions on investment property? You have a deal that they have in a contract that they want to sell or offer to us, or have a deal you're looking at, you want some help on? Or a deal you need financing for? Or a problem we can help?
Bill, I have a friend that have two properties that I thought photos was going to be up on Redfin by now, but I guess they're not. I just put them in the chat. One is on 10th Avenue in LA over by Adams, and it's a Craftsman, totally newly renovated. And the other one is on Fairfield Avenue, and that's up by Hollywood Bowl, Spanish style house. And it's I haven't seen it myself, but it's supposed to be really nicely done, gorgeous, and both of them are nicely done and gorgeous, because that's what they've done with other properties that renovated. yeah, if there's anyone who have clients that are looking in those areas, can reach out to me.
So what's your role with these properties?
I know the realtor for them. So that's all. I'm not involved in anything other than that. I know the realtor and the people that have renovated them. So.
Nice. Nice. Well, good for you. Well, I just double checked, and they're both, neither one's on the market as of now. Do you know, like on Fairfield, it looks like they bought that 2019 at $899. Do you know what they're looking to sell for?
No, I don't. I don't know anything. I just heard about it before I went on this call. So, and I thought she had gotten them up on the Redfin yet, but
You know, it's interesting that
they have.
Go ahead. So, and then this other one also was bought in 2019 on 10th Avenue for $869. So interesting, different, both different agents were on either buy side. Interesting. Well, thanks for sharing that. It's interesting to me that real estate agents complain about how little inventory there is, and then when you point out, yet it's so hard to get off-market properties that they offer on. I saw a couple of probate properties in Whittier that I know are below market, but I just don't know. An agent say, "Why can't give me offers accepted?" What is it that you're offering? But it's really when it's in the MLS, it gets such exposure that it's hard to compete with off-market transactions. Okay, cool. Well, I have, if Puyo's on a call, I'd say he's one to look for something like this off-market, make some money on it. Okay, so got to go to work. Martin, thank you. Great. I'm not able to hear from the car so long. Okay, well, is there some technical issues? Anders, thank you for sharing the two properties in the chat box. And they both look to be off-market deals that you say are coming back. That's what agents tell me they're looking for, more inventory. Well, there's some inventory before it's inventory. If you're selling in 90068 or 90018, these are two properties that you might want to take a look at. Thank you.
I have an idea.
Dr. Ed.
A lot of people ask about how do I get started? How do I don't have any money. I don't know how to knock a wall down or rehab a place. But again, I have that valuable commodity, which is time. And one of the things that I would suggest for a person like that is that one of the things they can do is go to the MLS, go to expireds, go to expired's land, basically lots, cheap lots. And in that category, you'll see a lot of people that have places that they're expired because they either weren't priced right, because they're not located in the right place, they're on a hill, they're just not something which is attractive to a buyer. And one of the things I would do is suggest to that owner that they consider the following. And I'd ask them this question. The first question I would ask them is, would you sell this on an installment basis? Would you basically take a modest down payment and receive payments over 2 or 3 years? And if they said yes, I'd suggest the following, or I'd ask the following. I'd say, do you have, and let's assume for the moment, and there happens to be, I came across this just the other day. There's a 1 acre lot, for instance, up in Agora Hills that I happened to see. And I think, unfortunately, it's been on the market very shortly, just a few days, but should that particular property be there, and it was priced at $99,000. I would ask that owner, I'd say, well, do you have any available cash Do you have any CDs? Do you have a cash account that a bank that's in a money market account that's earning 0.5%? Because one of the things I'd suggest that you do is I'd suggest you market your property as follows. And that is, I would say that you would market your, and let's assume it's $150,000 in cash, with what is called a must take. In order to basically get my cash, you have to agree also to accept my lot for $99,000. There are people out there, and I see them at my exchange meetings that I attend on almost a monthly basis, who are hungry for cash. They are developers who have come upon something where they need that cash very, very quickly. And they may have other properties that they own that have equity in them. And therefore, I've seen at these meetings, people stand up at the podium and say, again, I have a 1 acre lot for $99,000 and I have $200,000 in cash. And I will exchange this for a 2 or 3 year note at 6%, secured by this lot and an additional property that you also happen to own, to make sure that I have enough collateral for the $200,000 cash. You will find takers for those kind of deals. And the beauty of it is as follows. Number one, you convert $200,000 in cash at 0.5% that's sticking in a CD into a 6% return. Number two, you get rid of your property at full value or near full value. Whereas if you really had to sell it all by itself, you'd have to maybe knock it down by 40 or 50% in order for someone to take it. And so again, the following thing is, if you are a broker, you'll find that the following will happen. And I've seen this again happen many times. And that is, the person that's after that cash doesn't give a damn about this particular piece of land, this lot. He doesn't even want to see it. He doesn't want to go to it. He doesn't want to inspect it. He needs $200,000 of cash to do whatever he wants to do. And as a consequence of that, what he's going to do is he's going to ask the broker that's involved here and say, listen, would you get rid of this? Would you sell this for me? And so the broker ends up really selling it twice. He ends up with 2 commissions. He sells it the first time in this particular structure. And then because the person who bought it really doesn't want it, the logical person for him to use as a broker is the person that knows all about the property in the first place. And once again, I've seen those kinds of transactions activate little parcels of land that a person is sick and tired of, and he's paying taxes on them, and they're a pain in the neck, and he wants to get rid of it. By adding cash, he can basically, as I say, convert a very low, less than 1% return to a 6% return.
Well, here's what I'd say. If you get the situation, call Dr. Ed. That's going to help you structure it, because, thank you. That's why you're the doctor, and we just watch you on TV, play the doctor. But obviously, creative opportunities. When you're focused on helping people, someone with money, someone with property, someone in return, there's all kinds of opportunities. Dr. Ed put his info in the chat box. So I'd say if you find one of those situations where some cash for creative structure will help out, Ed Berlinski, and he's listed in our chat box. And Dr. Ed?
Well, thank you. I just thought I'd throw it out there. It obviously is something that doesn't happen all the time, but it does happen frequently at these exchange marketing meetings that, as I say, are extremely creative and extremely productive, that take place every once in a while on a national basis.
I grew up in a very consistent, focused, traditional real estate world, and most of my career only did that. And a few years ago, I met a young guy, Ron Escobar, who's a broker at Century One select in mid-cities. Taught me a lot about getting creative with real estate, and then I met people like you after that, Dr. Ed. But, and since then I've learned how to put some deals together that in the past I would have walked away from, and I'd make a lot of money. But more importantly, I help a lot of people. I have a deal I'll make a lot of money on, but this other person's facing bankruptcy and losing their equity in their house. They're going to get a check for $117,000. There's a company that's owed money. They're going to get $126,000. So, this is the possibilities, but I also get a very nice commission check by being creative. So creative solutions, talk to Dr. Ed Belinsky, the real estate doctor. Before we wrap up here, because we're getting close to the end, any questions, challenges, problems we can help? Senator Franco, nice to see your pretty picture, rather see your face. Any questions, challenges, or problems we can help you with?
Yeah. Hey, Bill, it's Carlos.
Hey, Carlos.
We were talking about off market, and in the market that I'm in upstate New York, it's just super hyper competitive right now. And, finding off market is like finding a piece of gold. And I've had success with some of my service providers, which I never kind of thought about, but like the guy that insures my properties, I started hitting him up.
Yeah.
And he started giving me some leads of, I got one that the owner passed away and his wife is dealing with all the stuff and things like that. So don't overlook the service providers that you work with, because they can be a good source of off-market transactions.
You're right. It helps them because they're going to get the business back.
Right, exactly. I mean, it's not, quid pro quo, but you're going to return the favor, and he's going to keep that property on his books, continue to insure it, right?
Yeah.
So there's a little incentive there for both sides.
Coach, where in upstate are you?
I'm in Buffalo, and right outside of Buffalo in Chautauqua County.
Got it. I think I told you my son-in-law went to college at SUNY Albany.
Okay, yeah, I went to SUNY Albany for 2 years, actually.
I have a lot of friends from Buffalo, so
Yeah. My one area is Fredonia, SUNY Fredonia, so I have a few properties there, and then the town over is Dunkirk, and then I'm trying to get in Buffalo, but I got one property in Buffalo now, but it's just so super competitive. And I was talking to someone the other day, and they said it's really spillover because Buffalo is so close to Canada. A lot of Canadians are coming over, and you're just driving the prices up, which was interesting because I never kind of thought about that.
But when space as the market's competitive, don't take that as a way to push you out the door. Look at that as you have to just plus up yourself in this business, though, right? I mean, that's what the 10x concept is all about. If you talk to 10 times the number of people, in a competitive market, you'll get 10 times what you're getting now. You won't get zero.
Right. And that's why, you got to be creative. If people come, 3 feet near you, hey, you got a house to sell. You got to be aggressive in trying to find the opportunities.
Yeah, agents will come to me sometimes and they're closing one deal a year. It's just one deal a month. And it's just enough to pay the bills, or they're falling behind. It's just enough to keep their head above water. But they can do 2 deals a month that would be life-changing. And so I have an easy answer. Just talk to 10 times the number of people. Right. You do at least twice the business.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Not complicated. Okay, good. Well, thanks for sharing that, and welcome to all of our fans and friends in Buffalo, New York, in upstate General New York, the Canadian border. My parents went to Niagara Falls for their honeymoon, so I have a personal attachment to that particular area.
It's
Mark
nice
Anthony,
this time of year, but don't be there come January or February.
No, way too cold for me. Mark Anthony, how you doing? Long time no talk, man.
Hey, I know. How you been?
Mark Anthony owns the San Gabriel Valley. When you drive on the 60 freeway, it's now entering Mark Anthony's real estate domain. You're killing it, buddy. How you doing?
Doing okay, man. Doing just waiting for the next deal. And I was listening to you. You talk about Buffalo. I have a good friend. One of my good friends lives in Buffalo. Been to Canada, and he's been telling me the same thing. Market's pretty crazy out there right now. So, yeah.
I think market's crazy everywhere. People want to live.
Yeah.
Outside of downtown areas.
Oh, yeah.
It's a great market for those of us who are in the hunt. Just keep on the hunt and don't get deterred. People, I hosted a call on the EXP Realty, and the managing broker was on vacation. So I was asked to host our weekly call with the agents. And we had a lot of agents on the call that fit into one or two categories. 90% of them were saying it's a tough market, it's way competitive. I'm writing 10 or more offers, none are getting accepted, there's no inventory, blah, 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 blah. Excuses as to why I can fail. That's all I really heard.
Mhm.
And there are two others who said, well, I wrote 10 offers last 2 months, but 6 got accepted. And I'm the luckiest, I'm the best buyer's agent in the world. And because of that, I'm getting good referrals.
Mhm.
And my clients are giving me more referrals because they realize I'm better than all those other idiots. And when we talked to the ones who were not getting offers accepted, they were not doing, I can tell you as a listing agent, the good agents will say, when I submit an offer, it's done properly. There's the offer contract forms are all together. There's a proof of funds. There's a pre-approval letter from the lender with the lender contact info. There's a DU with the credit score on there showing that it's been pre-underwritten. And the lending person is calling the listing agent to tell them how good the buyer and how qualified the buyer is. That's a proper offer in today's market.
Yes.
And they have other little accoutrements or stylistic points, but that's the basics of it. I can tell you as a listing agent, of the last 200 offers I've received, maybe one met that criteria.
Yeah.
So all you have to do as a buyer, instead of complaining about how tough the market is, all you really have to do is do your job. Fill out the forms correctly, call a listing agent before you write the offer in just to try to establish a rapport if you can. See if there's any, read the MLS instructions. As a listing agent, I try to put everything I can in there, read the instructions, follow the instructions, send it where they tell you to send it. Don't send it to the LA one if it says send offers to offers at whatever. Send it to offers at whatever. Follow the instructions. And I'm going to tell you, if you follow those instructions and include those items, full contract, proof of funds, pre-approval letter, DU, maybe cross out social security number and private info, have your lender at least attempt to call, text, and email the listing agent after submit the offer and follow the instructions, you're 1 in 200 buyer's agents to begin with. You've increased the odds of your offer being accepted by 20 times.
That's the kind of agent I want to work with on the other end.
Let me tell you, the listing agent, that's what I want to work with. Do you think I went the guy was, I had this agent, I used to be a lender, so I know the guidelines, and he sent me an offer where the proof of funds included the customer's business account. You can't use the business funds for an FHA loan to qualify. It's not an option. And he's arguing with me. I said, well, look, you can be right, you can be rich. I'm not going to accept the offer that way. I said, if you think I'm wrong, send me the FHA guideline. The 4155 is the name of the guideline, by the way. There's a clue I know I'm talking about. Send me the 4155 and circle where it says you can use that. Because I'm telling you, you can't. And I'll bet you $100, my charity to your charity, that you're wrong. You want to bet me $100? No. Okay, then you're wrong. So I always say is just do your job and get out of the how hard it is mindset. Again, to bring us back to the beginning, get out of the how hard it is mindset. Get into what do I have to do? How good do I have to be to get this deal done? What can I do to get it done? Not what can you do? Don't make it about calling and whining to the listing agent. He can't change your lousy offer. Right?
I have a thought.
Go ahead.
Again and again, we see, and this is a good example where these bidding wars are taking place, not just out here in Southern California, but just all over the place. And one of the, what should I say, ideas that I have heard that I have not myself used, but I've wanted to use it with one of my clients, is that if you're in a very tight bidding war, if you have a strong relationship with a lender, a hard money lender, a private lender, this does not work with an institution. Basically, present your offer with a deposit that's equivalent to the entire price that you're willing to pay. And what that does, once the broker receives that offer, is basically a change in psychology, because he's looking at a piece of paper that says, no, I'm not going to buy this for cash in 30 days. No, I don't have to worry about checking funds, if you will, it's cash. It's right here, and it's going to be in my broker's escrow account as soon as I accept his offer. And that's a way that I understand a number of people have beaten the system because they're in competition with cash offers, but it's different to have a cash offer with even a 10 or 20% down payment and the rest being closed in the future, as compared to something which equals the entire price that you're willing to pay.
But here's what I'd say though. As a buyer's agent, you're not in competition with cash offers. First off, I'd say this: you're not in competition.
And this was for investment properties, not.
I list investment properties every day. That's what I do.
Yeah.
And what I'll say to you is that if the property is not financeable, that's a different story, right? There's hard money loans and there's private money loans, and frankly, between the two, I don't really care if it's cash or hard money loan. In fact, in some regards, I kind of like having a hard money lender in the deal, because cash, I never know if you're really going to buy it or not. I don't know if there's not a lender behind the scenes. My experience is half the time, a cash buyer is not a cash buyer. They're lying up front to fool me to lure a cash buyer, and then they know once I'm an escrow, they could switch it to a loan. And I don't want to be an escrow with somebody where the beginning of a relationship is a lie. So personally, I don't care if you say you're a cash buyer, I can't really tell, or you're a hard money lender if, here's the key, your file's all put together. So if you're a cash finance buyer, 20% down, 80% borrowed, show me the 20% in your bank. Show me the pre-approval letter. Have your lender call me and tell you he's ready to go. Because what happens all the time is buyers getting offers accepted, then they start to apply for a loan, and that can take 3 weeks. Happens all the time. So I reject, and I mean, I don't need to be argumentative, and I respect you, Dr. Ed, but as a listing agent, in my experience, I reject the idea of your competition with cash buyers. You're not in competition. You're in competition to get your offer accepted. Don't worry about the competition. Be so good that people that you stand out. In your offer, I'm telling you, I literally have 3 offers on the listing right now. We're not going to favor the cash offer just because it's cash, because I don't know if it's really cash. The two that finance are legitimate brokers with real lenders who reached out to me, and the files are all packaged nicely. Not the way I would do it, but pretty close.
Well, my suggestion was basically to submit a cashier's check for the entire amount upon also submitting the purchase offer, so that it's cash.
Well, if they're working with Snuck, you can do that. If you need hard money, call Dr. Ed Berlinski and he'll hook you up, because most hard money lenders aren't quite as service oriented as you are.
Right. But if you have a relationship with someone where you've done 10 or 20 or 25 transactions,
Yeah.
you trust that person,
Yeah.
and the deal is not that complicated,
Yeah.
this can make a significant psychological impact.
Hey, how do I get so many investors to buy property at probate court when other agents find it hard? Well, one is I advance the cashier's check, right? If you want to buy property at probate court, you have to put down 10% for the cashier's check. I have customers who write me a personal check, I just hold it, and then if we get accepted, then they wire me the money afterwards. But they're good for the money, right? So how do you, is it hard? Yeah. Do buyers back out? Yeah, buyers are backing out. So I said to myself, what do I have to do to be more aggressive? I worked out a system where I just lend them the money for the 10% cashier's check, if need be. Or I would lend it to the bid gets to. Okay, I gotta run. We got a minute to go here. So thank you all for your input, Anders and Carlos. Sean, come when you get your things set up. I'd love to have a demo of your new system when available. Mark Anthony, nice to see you again. Who else? Dr. Ed, thank you for your input and help. As always, the rest of you, thanks for participating. We do this every Tuesday at 3 o'clock. Realestateinvestingzoom.com. You get it via YouTube. Please like the channel if you like it. Subscribe. Love to have you do that as well. And then Thursday, I do probateweekly.com. We get into probate issues. That's Thursday at 4 p.m. Again, all those are free. I'm Bill Gross, the LAProbateexpert.com. Make this your best week.